Peter here from Code Now, and I'm going to invite the rest of the panel, and that is Tomáš Kaštil.
Oh.
Then Leopard Bondak Walek
Hello, me.
and Pavel Pokorny. I hope I pronounce all your names correctly. Okay, so let's start with Honza. Honza is a fintech veteran, if I even say that, who helped overall launch the biggest banks in the country, Komerční banka. And today he is building smart energy solutions from the ground up in his own company. And he's in both sides, the startup and the corporate. So that's on that. And you have Tomáš. So over here, he built a 2 billion euros franchise with 12 countries, which is wow. And he knows what it's like to pitch for funding and hold the pen that sums it up. And now he's running his own business on his own terms. Then we have... Okay, then we have Petr. You might know him. He's a founder of Stratox and Co now. He raised $5 million, which is a lot of money. He built 2 companies and even served, this is a fun fact, as IT director at the Ministry of Education. I don't know if you knew that, but that's a pretty cool fact. Okay. And then we have Pavel. He has over 16 years of managing large-scale budgets while speaking both fluent finance and tech, because he has some technical background. And his strength is seeing straight through the fluffy buzzwords to the business core. Thank you for being so active. That's really nice. Okay, I have a lightning round for you guys. It's going to be super short. I'm going to give you a couple of short questions, and the first thing that comes to your mind, you will say that, okay? You have one mic there, so we will have to deal with that. Let's start with you, Tomáš.
Okay.
What is some buzzword that instantly makes you suspicious?
When somebody is saying that something is super cool.
Super cool. Okay. Okay. Petr, what about you?
But it's gonna be easy.
Okay. Pavel?
Of me is the others.
I love that.
There is no issue.
Okay, amazing. One thing you wish more engineering leaders stopped doing?
I suppose I would wish them to stop being too creative.
Okay.
Maybe over creative is the correct word.
Gotcha.
Maybe try and deliver stuff themselves.
Okay.
Actually, they should stop making me part of the problem.
I second that, okay.
You stone either idea, but step box and tells to be over complex.
Okay, cool. You have budget for one thing. Do you invest in tech, people, or process? It can be only one word answer.
I would invest to people.
People for sure.
Let's make it more interesting so that it's the process. Let's be simple, people.
Okay, thank you. One last thing. Slide decks. Love them or leave them?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, a slide decks, like a presentation.
Okay.
If you love them or Mikkel should be them. If somebody's making a pitch and they have slides and everything, all pretty designer.
I would say German saying EIN. So, kind of, I like it when it's, let's say, short and going to the points. When it's like, too long and not saying anything, then better to leave and work just with the dashboard.
Makes sense.
It needs to help structure the problem and actually nail down the main concerns.
Exactly, because when they produce few slides, it means they did their homework.
Exactly. Max 6 slides.
Perfect. Okay, that's it. You made it. Thank you so much. They didn't know. Don't worry, please. Always. Okay, let's skip here. You can join Slido, of course. Super. If you want to sit a little bit forward so you don't have the...
Wait, maybe not. Just wait. Stole the VM.
No, that's okay. Just I don't want to like...
Okay.
It's okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
just go into
It's just hashtag ELC. Because we are special. And you can ask questions there. Of course, that's what Slide is for. But if you have questions for a specific speaker, it would be great if you just say Pavel and your question or Tomáš and your question. If you need reminding their names, I'm going to be repeating them with the button. So that should be good. Okay, are you there? I don't see how many people is there, so I'm gonna believe you. And you can also ask on the spot. Okay, I don't have a gong, but imagine gong. And we have the first round. You don't need to see it. I'm going to tell.
No.
The round is called The Ones You Got Wrong, aka when saying no was a mistake. My question is, what's a tech idea you pushed back on, but later wish you hadn't? We can start with Petter, because he looks very ready.
Well, tech idea, but let's say SaaS delivery model of our product. It was pretty much a decision that was not backed up by hard facts, and it did cost us a lot, and it was basically wasted money.
Okay, fair. Who wants to go next? Tomáš.
Yeah. Okay, so we are, let's say, junior working in the car, let's say, or automotive industry. We are distributing the spare parts to cars, and as like an e-commerce platform, we are working with many marketplaces, and we had in the past many situations when we started to make an integration without knowing exactly the business, and exactly as Peter said, it was waste of money, waste of time, and finally we discovered that from what we integrated, we are using just 20% of and 80% was just like a waste of everything. So we learned from that, and right now we are doing all new projects like this. The first we start making a business, we prefer to buy ready-made solutions. There's a lot of small solutions which are already integrated to platforms like eBay, Amazon, Allegro, and so on. We first try to learn the business, to learn the processes, and then we decide to make our own integration when we know exactly what we need, and we can focus exactly on the point.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and you need to have the context. Thank you for that.
I haven't had a real example yet, but I just wish I knew what is wrong or what's wrong. Because you won't have the parallel or secret and then make the time just to see the two paths.
So everything went right for you. You can say it. You can say yes. That's amazing.
It's difficult to name it, yeah, because once you decide it, you usually go to the end.
That's fair. So no regrets. I like that.
You know, the point is that several times in the end, and the most important for us because I have a lot of examples from the corporate type, like the projects, the big ones, etc. The point is for me, and this is the most important, is yes, then you do the decision, and decision is I would say driven by the not listening and trusting the other people, you know, and you don't have the all information set up. It was the cases there were the cases where we did the biggest I would say wrong decisions. Then the most probably we will talk about once we will talk about how you push your ideas ahead. The main important is that you really trust the team, you know, transparency, etc. And then in the end, you used to be sad. But then you know the all elements, and you can that maybe go back and set it's much more easier. So it means trust and openness and credibility of the whole team somehow partially protects you to do a lot of, I would say, frivolous.
Perfect. Thank you so much to all of you. Okay. Round 3, we skipped one because we kind of covered it. So I start one round. Okay. Why did ideas get shut down? And my question is, what do technical leaders, or like it can be any leaders, often get wrong when pitching for budget, pitching for money?
Well, I would say that in many cases, there is a lot of dependencies and prerequisites, and where this idea itself is quite straightforward. To create a situation or environment within which the idea can flourish can be actually constrained with a lot of, let's say, irreversible or hard to reverse decisions. And then if you in the halfway find out, well, and now I have spent 20 million crowns or million euros on something, I'm halfway there, and suddenly something has changed. Even though it was a great idea at the time, just to create environment and fulfill all the prerequisites, actually created such complex situation that it's irreversible. Then I'm hesitating actually to go that way. It needs to be chopped down to smaller pieces, with a shorter time span, less money to invest, less risk, and therefore be able to steer way more often. And in most of the cases, the problem is that the idea is so great, so automated, and the benefit lies in something that it's just so expensive, and it will not work out. Everything that is spent on the way is useless, and you can throw it away. Then it's total showstopper.
That was really good. We can make a blueprint out of it, an article. Okay, any of you, do you have anything?
Yes, I suppose I fully agree with Peter. I was all the time on the side of business. I'm not a tech guy. So my biggest struggle was always when there was some idea presented, that I was looking on the benefits for the company for implementing the idea. And I guess that this is the big point of many, let's say, presentations and so on, that simply they are not able to evaluate what kind of benefits are coming from this new development. And for the person who is responsible for the budget, you need to really dedicate every coin smartly. And I was always preferring to run the projects which are either increasing the revenues or either reducing the costs. And when there was an idea, brilliant presentation, but then the question, okay, what will be the benefit for the company? So then it's okay. So if there is no benefits, we don't implement it because it will be just waste of time, waste of money. Yeah, and we have in the roadmap so many other ideas which are bringing some positives for the development. So that's my point of view.
Maybe before I answer, I will ask you on it to know each maybe better or you. In fact, who are from the more startup teams, and who are much more from the corporate teams, or meaning delivering, or you are part of that, to understand what is this let's say origin of you. Startup is very well. Startup is Okay. And the rest, you deliver you are part of the corporate. Okay. I'll let you to even though.
No, it's perfect. Do you want to switch with me? You're doing really good with the audience.
No, that was good. Regarding the answer. Okay, I think it starts with the sharing and understanding the purpose, the strategy, the proposition of the project, the whatever. What I mean by that is that the more free my experience is if the team really understood if we did some big transformations, one etc. What is the goal? What is the strategy? What is the purpose? Why we do it? What is the customer, etc., etc., etc. Then it was much more better for everybody if somebody came to us discussing the ideas. We were able to evaluate. Okay, how does it fit with the target, with the strategy? So this is for me the must, and the alignment and the communication sharing among the teams and tech leads, business leads. For me, it was the first essential, and the most successful project were when we were aligned. The biggest failures, and we had also the failures, were when it was utilized, etc. So I think understanding why, because when you as a tech then come to us as a business, you are able to understand whether the first you should speak by the language of the customer, of the target strategy. And the second, it's much more better for us to evaluate whether your ideas in the end somehow, let's say, fix in the time with the purpose of the project. So for me, if I would give you some, let's say, advice, etc., is to really take time, pay attention. It takes some effort really to align you with the business people to understand what is the purpose, because then the overall communication understanding could be better. And for sure, absolutely agree. Then if you have the idea, you have to say and reason why, and what can bring it to the company, to the business, and connect it to the customer. And when I read the sentence once again, so what's wrong? What's the problem? For me, the problem is the technically, because they focus only on the technical part, and as I said before, they quite often just present everything from the position us and the others, and it's also many times the other way around, because it's not always only pitching for money, it's also for time. They have limited time, and sometimes they also accept work from the business, from within the organization, and they don't think about the complexity, they just think about the technical part. And another aspect is then the customers, because, for example, our IT development is more or less focused on the internal processes, but also there is the customer, and the customer needs to be part of the business, of the interface, and things sometimes forget. So this is something which Maurice will take it from, and they speak to me.
If I could add, maybe as we are discussing, one thing that is quite often missing is that the tech leaders, when they come, they have no idea what is the cost structure of the final product or the final service. Therefore, they leave little or no room for the business stakeholders to incorporate whatever. Where will I make money at the end, And what if I want have to start giving discounts, And how do I actually play from the financial perspective? So, yeah, maybe sometimes it's difficult for in order the business people should initiate the discussion. But on the other hand, if as a technical leader I do not have the input, I have to ask for that, because without having the full understanding of the cost structure, it's difficult to say, is this expensive or is this cheap?
Sorry, I had a good example on that one. We might listen to the technical people. They explain something to me, and then they list the variants they went through, and they said, okay, you have ruled this out, because it is expensive. Except, wait, how did you calculate it is expensive? I would know. And then, yeah, because they just only look at the first price tag, and the whole structure behind this is missing. That's my experience.
So do you all think it would be better if, let's say, I have an idea, I come to you first as the decision makers, and we kind of work on that idea and align it with business goals and make it sense to the business? If you, of course, have the time.
I mean, look, basically everybody knows iterative software development and agile way of delivering, and I don't quite understand why the same approach is not actually used one step before. Like how do I get to the information what I'm actually trying to deliver? There is always, or not always, in many cases, there is single iteration. Like you guys give me business strategy, you guys give me your goals at least for a year ahead or maybe 2 years ahead, and then I as a tech person will deliver something. Well, I think meeting way more often and discussing and having the loop quite tighter with the top level executives is essential. And if it is not there, the tech lead is responsible for actually asking again and again and again and explaining why I need this information.
Hamza?
The first thing is you need to raise the attention from the business side. And how you do that? That you are able to point some idea that really in the end brings something more for the customer. Then open-minded business guys starts to much more dig from the idea. So this is for me the basement. And as I said, to be able to raise the attention, you need to understand what is the goal, and etc. from that amount of view. For sure, if you have if the issue is some operational risk or cybersecurity, etc., I think this is the way how to raise the attention very easily. But we are much for talking about the business side.
Maybe if I can add just a small comment to this here. I remember when I started the business in 2000, so there was like two different silos. A silo of business, silo of IT. IT at the time was something like from this series IT crowd. Yeah, so it was a room somewhere in the basement and two guys responsible for the fax machines and one email box, and that was it. Yeah. But today I would say that the IT is like an integral part of a business. Today I cannot imagine our company working without IT. So we have for 1 minute blackout of a catalog and everything is upside down and the whole company is struggling. So Joe, I suppose that the time changed dramatically, and today the let's say the IT development is essential part of a business development. Yeah? And that's what Hamza said. Simply, those two parties has to be aligned. They have to have the common vision. They have to focus on the same goal. Otherwise, it's like when you are pulling one rope and each party is pulling a different side there, and you never reach the goal. So I would maybe if I could one more question to the audience, who agrees that product owner in your teams have enough empowerment and enough decision making power on how to spend money? Who believes that the product owner is able to make those decisions? And so probably the rest lives in organization where product owner actually is working with predetermined budget, and that the question is who set the budget and who set the goals, and that's exactly where the loop actually is disconnected, I believe. And that's something that has to be all bring it to the top management and gain attention. Because if the loop is disconnected, then it will end up badly sooner or later.
If you have to, of course, there has to be somebody who has to test best.
Okay, perfect. Let's move to the next round. But you were kind of answering the question already. But what makes you listen? If you could, I know we kind of went through it, but if you can go like one or three things, 1 to 3 things, you can say also 2, what makes you listen?
Okay, so in ideal case, when they come, the colleagues from the technical departments, IT departments, they have identified the business case, okay, they get all the technical analysis, okay, that's fine. But what is in the ideal world of what would be in I would work the perfect match would be other than the business analysis, I have involved all the stakeholders within the company. I have a project and all the people who are involved have bought it in. Okay, then you just have to deliberate, pay for it, of course. But if the first part is missing, more of the procedure. In that ideal world, it will be like that. I will see on the paper the pierce puncher with confirmation that they did all these prerequisites, and now it's a yes. First, and that will be the trust, because the next time after they had delivered, hey, no problem, not only Pavel.
That's great. I think Pavel almost like checked everything on the list. You have anything to add?
Well, I would say that if somebody comes and says, look, we can make more money, we can improve our net dollar retention, we can actually improve our margin by such amount, and all we need to do is implement these features, project, whatever, some complexity, but starting from the end, actually, bottom line upfront. So why do we do something? Well, we need to make money. We need to grow. We need to get more customers. So if somebody comes with the business outcome first, then I'll listen. If somebody comes and says, I believe our customers could like this feature, what for? Who am I going to help? That's this.
The word, the very best example would be we have discovered this tool and we will let tool.
So that's why it took 3 months for my software to be approved. Okay, I get it.
Maybe if I can add, because Peter said that it's like a proper orders, we can make more money. For me, that's correct, but there's another one, we can save more money. There is actually, for instance, in our startup, we have this like front end, this e-commerce platform where we built around 20% functionalities, which are just enough for making business. We are doing today 30 million euro annual. And now we are concentrating on optimization of the processes, on, let's say, this ERP level, on pricing and so on. So here, for instance, the guy came with the idea. Today we have a dynamic pricing built by our team, and pricing which in our competing companies is made by like 20 people, is operated just one, let's say, SQL specialist who is just, let's say, keeping the algorithms in order and so on. Yeah, and we are able to change practically in the terms of a mini enterprises like millions of prices for 6 different markets, and it's everything operated by one guy. Yeah? So here I believe we are saving enormous amount of money. So for me, those like two buzzwords are earn more and save more. Yeah.
And if I would be exact, if you can with the value that you are able to save or to gain, and you are able to immediately some hypotheses and some ideas to explain why, what's behind, or the reasoning, then you have the attention. And this is to be exact. And today within the AI, deep search, etc., to fight to some object the hypothesis, etc. You are very occupied by the very strong tools how you can support it. So this is my exact advice, to be very specific.
I think this goes very well with our principles that we, me and Marian, I don't know if he's here or he's drinking beer over there, okay? So we mentioned this as a ELC conference in March, and that is that the European market needs to learn how to generate value and speak in money. Do I say that correctly, Marian?
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. So what you are saying is kind of underlying, so that's great. Okay, another round.
Simply speaking, it's not easy task for a lot of business people. But in the end, that's it. That's the game.
Perfect. So you basically answered another one, but I would love to know what is one thing you can really think hard. What is one thing that makes you say yes and can be, value? It can be saving money. It can be generating money, whatever. It can be also something, special. Just one thing. I'm going to limit it for you.
Well, it's difficult because
Okay, so it was well, right? Well, is the thing.
and anything that is touchy that touches the core business. It depends. A lot of people are coming with things which are not essentially our core business. And if it actually improves our core business, then it's worth packing. If it will improve something aside some generic stuff, maybe improve some generic, well, then it's definitely a priority to see.
What about you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I already said it at the beginning. For me, the word is benefit. If I see any benefit from the new idea for the company, either it is on the level of increase of the revenue or the savings or being different from the competition, anything which is bringing some added value, this is the word which attracts my attention.
I thought so, that it's going to be benefit, so I loved it.
Definitely value. And there is one soft. It is a passion. It means that I know that the guy, let's say, presenting it, really, I see that that really thought about it and is involved, and etc. etc. So it's a hard benefit, and even I see that he's credible and he did something extra to come with that idea.
Okay, and it can be woman as well.
Sorry.
No, just politically correcting, just to be sure. Okay. Another one. What do you think is the most important factor for earning trust from stakeholders? You can vote if it works. Now we're gonna find out who is on Slido and who's not. Who seems scared? No, he's scared, please. Okay, you have 6 people. Is it transparency, consistency, results for expertise? Maybe into 10 for you as well, to see what people think. Apologies, it's been hijacked. Okay, so results for earning trust. Then transparency, consistency, and expertise is the lowest. Would you like to comment on this, any of you? You don't have to.
I mean, results are always important. The question is, what is the cost of the result too? I mean, or I would not actually myself put results to the very top, because results can be achieved, but you can screw up your quality just for achieving the results. Therefore, once you deliver, let's say, but I don't know how it was actually matters. Yeah, task bites is definitely a very good thing. Consistency, it's again some examples or my experience from personal life. I would rather see it as a negative, because it also means being like very rigid, very conservative. Don't want to change anything, because I told you one new that one and I don't want to change that. What do all this changing fast? For me, transparency,
combined with the results.
I would maybe change. I don't know if that would be used like a synonym for me. The transparency, I understand like honesty, right? So yeah, but the honesty definitely is more important than the results. And I agree that person that the results sometimes can be achieved or on the cost of the other people. Others will agree that the best combination is the honesty and the results.
And the extra case is a must. That's a prerequisite. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there.
Okay, so you guys have a problem with choosing one. I learned that. And we can have a couple of questions if you may. So let's do 3 questions. The most upvoted one is, who is that understands business needs, strategy, customers, tech part, and can pitch? Show us this Obermensch. I don't speak German, so. Thank you. We can all say the morning. Yeah, do you know of anyone?
Like a Superman also. It's a synonym for the Superman.
Oh, I from my experience, I know those people. They were usually through the IT because they were the ones who had the mental power to understand all the leaks and they developed the software from like the pyramids. So they were pretty much able to put all these things together. I wouldn't definitely overcomplexify it. Maybe this is the issue that there are total buzzwords behind it, strategies, business strategy, etc. I think if a business and open speaking, I learned a lot, I did a lot of mistakes, the communication, the strategies, etc. The best way how to show what is the strategy is to be by the simple words to promote the propositions, the services that your company is trying to offer, the products, etc. And you are able to say what is the target customer, why do you like to be better than the competitors, and etc. By the examples. So I, as I said, I started with the auto buzzwords when we started in the corporate, and in the end, what helped that we simplify that buzzwords to exact examples and then the explanations, etc. And that I don't think that in the end you need to be Superman, because you the boss capable are able to imagine what is the product, what is the service behind the company. And sorry, why you or your company think that can be better than the competition? I will answer that in the context of software development, and I don't even think it's that difficult, because you need to understand business if you are delivering the software, because you have a problem space and a solution space. If you don't understand the problem you are trying to solve, you will most likely fail anyway. So to understand the business, well, that's a prerequisite. Otherwise, you are delivering software for whom it why. So that's the first thing. Strategy, well, I would say that's developed on the go, especially in the smaller companies. That's always changing. And that's we were talking about it before. You need to talk quite often with the top management. And even if the top management is not able to, let's say, communicate the strategy, which is in many cases the problem, it will somehow emerge, over the discussions, and it will be distilled through the discussions, and you will find it out. And what is core business and what is not? Well, again, if you understand the business, whatever does not bring a business value is not core business. And what brings business value, that's something I'm getting paid for. If you don't understand as a tech guy what brings the money to the company, how do you want to contribute actually? Then you're just waiting to fulfill somebody's order. And that's definitely not the position you want to be in, because then you are not a leader. Then you are a follower. So yeah, I would say, and yeah, understand total understand the business. That's technically this difficult thing to learn, but it is a must objective.
I would just add that during my life, I met a lot of people which thought that they understand all of these areas, and I have to say honestly, they were complete idiots. And I suppose that this is like, never-ending process of learning. That nobody knows everything, and that's why I suppose what is essential is a teamwork, and that you have to have a team consisting of people which are specialized in the areas. And simply, this is something what nobody should be ashamed of to ask for a piece of advice and work with the team, because as I said, people which thought that or think that they know everything, they are just idiots.
Maybe I have one very okay example. Here it is like in prehistory. It was my experience. You know how we established the first I called the fintech, maybe the Europe Expandia Bank, because I was part of that co-founding team. And okay, I was 21 years old. Our boss was 24 years old. Nobody was the banker. And we established, because we knew that we would like to do the retail bank, intent-based bank, blah, blah, blah. And you know, what was the strategy? That we stand in front of the empty food chart. I mean, we draw really the bank you would like to have from the services that we're asking to be. We put it, and we had a great team of the IT guys, and said, okay, let's do it. So this is in the end, it was the first strategy for example, expand that, like, from the customer's perspective. And everybody was clear what we should do and why.
Thank you for sharing that. Pavel, I have one for you. How do you understand cost structure if companies usually don't share that much internally? Do you have any tips?
That's a tricky question.
I actually, from my perspective, I really don't want to share it either. Yeah? Because then you start influence the people quite strong, and you won't want them to react on some financial figures. Again, you need to then to change it. You want to make it better, the business, the strategy, and for that means you want to improve what is correct. And if you confront them with today's cost structure, they will only adapt to. That's my opinion of it. That one.
Okay, but earlier I remember you said that the IT people should like calculate.
I'm not saying that.
That was you saying that? Okay, apologies. You're good. So Peter, to you.
Well, you can demand. I know that especially CFOs, they don't want to actually, that there's a lot of hidden gems. So it's and sometimes there is a lot of NDAs floating around. So but always what you can demand is that it can be separated, let's say, into bigger chunks. So what is the overall, I don't know, total cost of ownership of something? Or let's say I need to understand how much money can I, if convert it to the cost of per. So we are selling 2 million units today. We will be selling 10 million units tomorrow. So what is your expectation on the projection of growth of operating that? Is it linear? Is it not linear? So, and then by actually asking clever questions, you will reverse engineer the cost structure, So, but it's not that you will essentially get it, written on the paper. We pay 10% is to create, 10% is to operate, 15% is net margin, 25% is a buffer or distribution, because I don't, you will never get it probably. But yeah, but sooner or later, because most of you, I believe, are doing IT in companies that are selling something electronically. Probably few of you are breaking soccer or selling physical things like trays or so. I don't know. Then sooner or later you will be working on projects, or the overall IT tech part of the organization will work on projects that are touching the product from multiple viewpoints: create, operate, distribute, But the question is, do you understand it from this perspective? So you can actually ask those questions, and then maybe sometimes you can get financing for the project, and it's way better to improve the relationship with the top management by delivering small project, improving, I don't know, for example, cost of delivery, like how do I deliver the product to the end customer, instead of trying to incorporate change, how do I build the product or something like that. But it depends. So reverse engineering, if it is not provided, and it will never be provided in full, but it will be provided into segments, and you need to understand the life cycle of the product or the service, and that will actually reveal the cost ownership.
Thank you. Keep the mic. Can you give me a brief answer, because we have still like half of the rounds left, to this question: how to pitch disruptive innovation if you consider only core business? If you cannot do it briefly, we can, you can think about it and so could like.
Typically the disruptive idea is only the core business. In very few cases, in my experience, it is that I mean, what is disruptive? Is Uber disruptive enough that we will kill all the taxi service across the globe? What is the core business of Uber? I mean, it's just we operate as a service, and we don't own anything, and everything. So the core business of Uber is essentially very simple, and everything that is there today is unknown, that was delivered way later.
The bets of the company. One example from convention, I think it was quite good. Convention established Dojo company that was exactly focused to find some non-banking but related ideas, disruptive or innovative, etc., etc. And it was the purpose of that company supporting the ideas. So they were established several ideas. So some of them, let's say, some that arrived, etc. So it depends whether the company, for example, corporate, supports that. Okay, you had the tool. If it is part of the core business, I think it's very difficult. Maybe then you have to have some personal relationship with the big boss, and you need to then convince them much more.
Okay. Let's skip that.
Maybe from another level, from the VC perspective, at least in my experience, is they are very keen on actually keeping a focus. So the more complex the idea is and more moving parts there is, the more they will be suspicious that you will get the focus, and therefore the less chances you have to wait the pitch.
Yeah.
Perfect. Good. Round 6. How do you choose what moves forward when the budget is limited? Tomasz, you can start with you because it'll be involved for a long time.
Yeah, so I would say the budget is always limited. So never limited, So what we do, we divide the task into several groups. There are like critical tasks which you have to do, otherwise the whole business will collapse. Those are with necessary upgrades of infrastructure, of software and so on. And then there are the ideas which are like ideas with those benefits where we can measure or at least estimate what could be estimated increase of the revenue or the cost savings. And then we try to prioritize the task, starting first with the simple task, which will for which we spend a little time, and then continue with those which will take a little bit longer time. And then we have this like another category. Those are the ideas which are like nice to have, which we normally do not implement because we have the roadmap so much full of those tasks which are already tasks with some, let's say, measurable benefits that we don't have enough capacity and do not have enough budget of this task. Would like nice to have, yeah. Just one let's say example, what I already mentioned. Yeah, there was a lot of ideas coming what on e-commerce you can do. You can have a lot of fancy features and tools and so on. Yeah, when you look on that from the perspective of our customer, our target audience are the car workshops. They don't need that, and they will not appreciate. Yeah, because we are like a purely B2B e-commerce. So all this fancy stuff will cost us a fortune for to B2B developer. Will not bring any measurable benefit in the increase of the sales and so on. Yeah, so that's why we go in this direction 2080. So we just develop 20% of the stuff which is necessary to achieve 80% of the revenue. Yeah, and the rest features. This is exactly what was already mentioned by Peter and by the others. Yeah, that a lot of guys they are saying that would be really nice for the customers. Yeah, okay, there will be. I suppose everybody will like it. Yeah, but they will not start buying more because of this feature. Yeah, so this feature in this moment, in this stage of development, is useless. Maybe somewhere in the future where we will have so much budget that we will not know what to spend the money for. We can make it. Yeah, but I suppose as well what Peter said. Yeah, if you are staying focused, if you just let's say try to understand what is the like the business case, what is the proposition to your customer, and leave everything what is not important aside. Yeah, this is something what will especially for the startups, because at the beginning you will have very limited budget and you have to choose very carefully for what you are spending the money for. Yeah, and this is something what will really help you to stick to this 2080 rule.
Maybe two comments from me. So every business is different, and everybody has a different customers. In our case, for example, it is important to think from a customer's point of view, and you will always try to make your cheaper compared to the competitors, because then you will find into you, because you will make his life easier. But then it comes to the budget. Okay, if you are a growing company, I do not see that many limits when it comes to money. I do see problems when it comes to the delivery, to time, capacity of the teams, identifying the potential areas to improve. Because once you come up with the idea, okay, this would be really good investment, that would save us money, that would generate more revenue, then you actually always spend money. My experience today is follows. In having a startup, what I like is the prototyping. So if you are talking about I would say business development ideas, for me is to find the fastest way how you can something show to a customer and see the feedback. So this is something absolutely is nice to have mass, and the way how you are able to really distinguish what is mass and nice to have it is the core for that. And today, for example, what we do is that we prototype even it's funny that even we promote some new I would say features for our product, even we don't have them developed yet, and based from the customer perspective, then we see that there is the interest. Then of course we know that we are able then to deliver it for certain time. So there are some tricks how you can test the market whether it is worth investing to the some idea or not.
Well, I would say that as a from a CEO perspective, I need to make sure that we do not drop the ball. That the show must go on. Actually, and then it depends, from the budget perspective. So to secure more money coming into the budget, what do I do? Sell more, get external investment, issue bonds, or I roll somehow there has to be a understanding how to get money to the budget. and then you have outflow from the budget. And then exactly there are people who are responsible for the budget management, and they will ask you, Peter, are you able to secure external funding, $5 billion? No, I'm not, sorry. Okay. Therefore, it does not make sense to gain more customers with a very small margin, because nobody will appreciate it. Therefore, we need to focus on margin instead. Therefore, we will focus on costs. Therefore, the priority from the budget perspective will be to reduce the cost to improve the margin, because before we will go bankrupt, we will not raise any new funds. That's it. And in some other scenario, I can imagine that, okay, we actually have to start spending more, in order so we win 15 more customers, because that will actually secure us extra funding round. And is it a very risky bet? Maybe, could be. Who's taking the risk? But that there is multiple solutions to it.
Thank you for that. Another are you ready? Yeah, you seem ready. Okay. How do you help your teams, and we already touched this topic, align proposals with business goals, or as Peter says, core business? How would you help your teams?
Yeah, okay. So
Coach them.
yeah, so for a long time, yeah, I've been applying very simple setup, yeah, because I like the model of KPIs and so on, and my experience was always when I was working in these corporate companies that there were, let's say, silos. People, they have KPIs were set up like this, that they were not aligned. So always it was like, okay, but we did our job and this is not our fault and so on. Yeah, and then finally, we've been not able to reach the results. So that's why in the previous company and in the actual company, we have very simple setup. That is, let's say, all guys from all different departments, they are part of, let's say, this like a board team, and we are sharing profit in the same proportion. And then simply it doesn't matter who fuck it up. Yeah, so there is a fuck up. Nobody has a bonus. Nobody has a part of a profit. So, and that's some that really helped me, and that's my personal really good experience. Would make my guys staying focused on one common goal. Yeah, everybody knows that the most important for us is to make the revenue, to make a profit. Otherwise, nobody will have a bonus. And the guys, all the guys from all different departments, they are participating on these weekly meetings where we are, let's say, discussing the business topics. So even the IT guys, let's say that the guy who is responsible for the development and the guy who is responsible for the infrastructure, they are participating on the meetings. And generally, they abide by, let's say, listening. What are the business topics? They are learning the business. They try to understand what are the needs and so on, and they make decisions together with us. And this is the way how we try to align the business with the IT, because generally, what I said, I cannot imagine our business running without IT. I can imagine our IT running without our business, but not vice versa. And that's as well, from my perspective, what is very important is to have on the positions of the guys which are responsible for the IT development, somebody who understand how to speak both languages, IT and this like common language of the Middle Earth for all of other of us, because generally, if there is a really too much tech guy, yeah, many times there is a let's say problem to understand what he's trying to say, and on the other side he could have a problem to understand what the business is trying to say. So we have the guys which are somewhere in the middle, and that is something which I really believe helping us to keep this, let's say, common goal and understanding what are the business needs and how the IT has to support the business development.
Maybe my experience, unfortunately, on both sides, even success and unsuccess, about exactly this basically when the business and IT team sits together with some project, etc. You share the same sayun, etc., etc. The second is behind that there is no, I would say, formal presentations. It's daily routine. This one. So when you sit together, you decide the daily basis. You once the decision, okay, is needed to be made. You explain why, etc., etc. So it means the most important gear is to align by the real daily review, by the openness and transparency, and in the end, it creates the effect of the understanding. You need to communicate for the both sides. If one side doesn't, I mean, business or IT doesn't understand something, you have to ask on the both sides. This is effort to done, but yes, that works. If it is destructive, then that is the issue.
Pavel, do you want to add to that?
Very, very quickly, it's not my language. I would prefer in those speak the language of the company, because it's in many cases it is the language of one department, language of that department, the company.
Oh, or whether your language is meant like a C-level or management language, or
Custom decision makers language.
oh, what I have done is that I've sent the leadership team to, let's say, some education MBA basics, master business administration basics, not the full MBA, but so they get some 360 overview, that there is a legal point of view, there's marketing point of view, SaaS point of view, because it was tech guys, right? Number one, number two, delegate, and then silently suffer, but and help them actually overcome their issues with energy.
Perfect. Okay, so the next round was already answered by Honza Majli. So we will skip that so we have more time for the questions that you guys had. And one last round, one piece of advice. And I know we were circling around that the whole panel discussion, but really, if you will pinpoint, choose one piece of advice you would give tech leaders to get your buy-in, what would it be? Just make it super simple.
Ask for the meeting at the moment you are prepared for meeting, and do your 360 before actually. So if you want to pitch something, okay, then do whole 360 around it. Why am I doing that? How will I do it for boom? What am I doing that? What is the outcome, and how will I manage risks on the call? And then actually you could be possibly prepared.
Perfect. Hamza, you ready?
At the beginning, it's simple, better. Point the value and describe why you think that it can bring the way. Perfect. Well, maybe two things. One thing is that's how I do experience it. The technical word is becoming a jumble. It's really difficult to understand. So somebody who will actually not raise more and more questions with every sentence, but do the opposite, that will be definitely a big advantage, because then we will understand what they are talking about, and we will somehow be able to understand the deeper problem. And the second thing would be, if you will make it complex, not just a technical project, but a project for the company.
Thank you, Tomasz.
Okay, I suppose that this is this kind of sell me the pen issue, yeah. So that people, they start to create arguments why this pen is better and why the person should buy it. Yeah, why the proper approach should be first to check what kind of pen the person is using, if actually he's even using the pen, yeah, and so on. So connected to what Peter said, first everybody should check what are the needs, and if there is really need for something to be sold out, yeah, and then to prepare the let's say the product which is fitting to the need, and then I'm sure it will be bought.
Amazing, you guys. So let's move to questions. Do you have a couple more questions? You can still upload and ask more. Okay, we answered this. What percentage of capacity do you expect your teams to spend on researching new ideas / doing businesses analysis / preparing business case? I think this is a really interesting one, and I'm curious because I guess it doesn't have like straightforward answer.
Oh, well, oh, I would not say per percentage. How we work basically, we are running quarterly cycles, and within those quarter cycles, we run in 2 week sprints, and uh, typically that there is always an agreement that within a quarterly cycle there has to be something tangible for the customer. So as long as this is kept, I don't care. But I mean, if you are able, if you will need to think for 2 months and then deliver it within a single month, okay. If you will think about it for 10 weeks and then deliver it in a single week, okay. If you will think about it for 1 week and then will be delivery 10 weeks, could be also okay. It depends. It's just very hard to say. I would not, otherwise I would not take a look on the problem from this perspective at all, probably.
Okay, can we move to the next question, or does anyone have strong feeling to add something? Okay, when you approve an IT project with budget X, how much do you expect it will actually cost? Are IT projects worse in that regard compared to others? Make Abel could take this.
Usually, yes. They are worse because and it is so intensive. And the times it's just flying over and everybody seems easy, and then you don't see the results. That is the problem. So when you own the automotive, a real car, you will just get it for the price you have ordered it for. Even construction you can measure it. What was the problem? So, but in this law, it's really it's the trust. If the transparency we had it over there, the questionnaire, and it always comes more. That's the rule. That is actually my experience.
Yeah, that makes sense. Play ball for money. Okay. Imagine your work in IT, having your experience now. How would you build a startup and leave corporate IT world? Hmm? That's philosophical.
We are police inspectors. We So I am in the other corporate, but I will not have the business kids. I don't have the business kids.
I have left IBM actually to the startup, so I think that I did. And lead business. I mean, all own nothing, and have the least possible team focus on the core business. So and generate least costs possible, and have most of the people that from the very beginning be co-founders incurring the least costs. But basically own nothing and outsource everything. You can very easily stop service you are outsourcing. It does not hurt. What hurts is actually letting people go very hard.
I can confirm that because today, with the different platforms supporting the business processes, etc., with the AI, etc., really, it's something that we gain from it as much as possible in our startup, that we focus to the service, to the products, minimum effort to the IT, everything is outsourced. Just that.
Erwa, can you, I don't know, maybe this one was already there since we went through all the other rounds, but Can you provide advice on advocating for initiatives like reducing tech debt, which often gets deprioritized in favor of new features? Hamza, you seem like you might have something to add.
It's not only developing your business, but it's also protecting your business. I remember from the Machi, absolutely difficult, very, very, very complex questions, and I don't have the simple answer for that. It means that the business in the end ran on the edge, and it's really edge of the operational. I mean, and that's much problem.
Well, the corporate typically actually gets pushed by exactly set telling them that they will not be able to continue doing the business. So in case of bank, okay, you will not upgrade the work banking, you will lose your license because you have a regulatory responsibility to have it supported with a 5-year outlook. Not able to satisfy this condition, you're out of business and there is no more bank.
But my experience is generally, people are saying that for the years, bad months, it comes. It's much more positive, much more skip. Okay, it's unfortunately that's the corporate life.
Okay, then we have question from Marianne. Do you believe people uncertain of their value can truly create value? Another philosophical one. Yes or no?
I do. I suppose, like, everybody who is dedicated, yeah, who is passionate, creates values, and maybe those people, they will find out later on what is their value. But again, if you are, let's say, honest, if you are dedicated, if you are a team worker, you have a huge value for the company. Maybe you don't see it right now, but sooner or later you will. So I believe.
I also do because, but it depends on the company culture. The culture can act as a safety net, even for the uncertain people, and that will help the picture to overcome the problem.
I love that.
Because a few days ago, I listened very nice interview with the head of the media. And he said that normally auto failures came from the by purpose, but a lot of them by chance. So it means that if you are open-minded, so and you have a chaos on this track, he can bring lots of the necessary deal by chance.
But I would like to add to that delegating and feel the pain is part of the. But what's going on? Yeah.
I'm choosing question, so the element. Have any of you read the Phoenix Project?
Half on.
Okay. Okay, this settled. Apologies. Okay, should startups opt for bank loans or pitching?
Man, we feel like a house. We have right now, like, the third year of our operation, and I can say that as a startup, we will forget about the bank loan. Yeah. So if you don't have like, if it's so the issue is that if you need the money, no bank will give you the loan. Yeah, if you are profitable and you don't need the money, everybody will be offering you the loan. Yeah, so then how it is. So I guess that's asking, like, fundraising is the only option for the startups, unfortunately. You can get a loan if you will put your own house as a collateral.
Yeah, I don't have a house, so getting being hurt.
Yeah, just kind of a joke, but it's true. The bankers are plans on and we don't need that. Thank you.
Sorry on that. Okay. We discussed the importance of showing the business benefits. Main infos. the much use and benefits. Quite often, this can range from a simple revenue cost projection to a full business case. What is good enough?
I suppose that it depends as well on the person to whom you are presenting. So I would say quite a simple case because I'm getting very easily enthusiastic about new ideas. So for me, just like a short pitch of something what could bring something, you don't need to measure too much because my brain will start immediately create a lot of crazy ideas and so on. So for me, just as a rough idea, showing me some possibility of having, let's say, this benefits is already gaining my attention. But I predict that there is a bunch of other people to whom you have to present like a complex business case with the cost structure and so on. So
My experience in the end, when we decided to which area to go, and even in connection, in the end, we were okay. At the beginning is the one line in Excel. It means the value, reasoning, and a very short story behind. And once it's and okay, because we are we know the runner, etc. Once it was suggested, we said, okay, let's dig much more. So the beginning could be quite simple one. If you need to be able, as I said, beginning to be able to be very clear why and what's behind the reasoning. So that is okay. If you ask a financial manager, we will ask you for the term Excel sheets business case. So, but openly speaking, simple that at the beginning, in my opinion.
Also, it depends on the size of the investment and b how easily or how easy the decision maker can understand where the future revenue or the benefit actually comes from. I can speak about call now. It has a very difficult thing, because we save time on meetings, on ticket flows, on unnecessary work dealt by developers, or context switching and entering multiple jobs by the same person. And when you talk about these benefits to the business stakeholder or Apple, well, they will probably not understand. And it depends who is actually giving the business case. If it is somebody who has the trust, then it can be easy. If it is somebody who does not have the trust, then you need to go into there. When actually, yeah, I guess that.
No, I get that. Okay, I like this one, so let's do that. And not green flags. What is a red flag? What is the statement a person could say that makes you go, God, why are we even talking right now? Give us some spicier and flex space. Okay. Silence is a red flag.
That there's so much having. Yeah. That they're using that, let's use that as well. Or I believe this will be good. Or we haven't touched this part of the system for long. Or that there could be a possible risk if we will not to do that. How will that risk materialize in costs? I don't know. Okay. I don't know. So I would say, unfortunately, 80% of the discussion is flex.
Yeah, my favorite topic is the teams, and because in many, it's especially during the delivery, the ITs they sometimes act like a spectator and tell you, okay, it's there. So he has provided the platform, they provided the software, and then they are just fine and waiting for the others to deliver. But the other part is struggling. They need help. So this is a red flag for me when they are like, okay, it's not all going, it's them.
Yes.
We us.
I love how you cooperate over there.
This
Okay.
way on the mission see.
Teamwork, reward. Okay. They're happy. Okay, so let's do this last question. because Maria was doing what I usually do it to him. Was like, let's end this. If you had 2 features for a project with similar cost, 10 to implement, one bringing sales, the other cost reduction, which would you choose? And in 2 words.
Newer.
Depending on the final result, it's so difficult to answer in 2 words because generally either you could have an increase of revenues, which are as well increasing the costs and the final results or EBITDA be lowered. Yes, so I guess that in such particular scenario, I would choose for the case which is having the most positive impact on the final result on EBITDA.
To me, it's the revenue, because without revenue, you can reduce any cost. It does not make any sense. You have to attract the customer, and then you have the time to solve the cost. A little joke, the costs are almost always tangible, and then you saw it. But in the end, it's up to the decision and the readiness.
I suppose that it is as well important in what stage of development you are. Yeah, so if you are running with zero, let's say, free cash, yeah, and so on, so you have a different preferences than if you are a big company and having let's say some backup. Yeah, so I guess that this is as well important.
If our sales cycle is 12 months and our runway is 3, then probably.
Makes sense. Okay. So this was Q&A. Thank you very much. Big thanks you guys for coming here and sharing honestly all of your experiences. And you will get a chance to ask them anything during the networking. I will now release you from your seats. You can go burn a beer. Okay. And just a couple of words from me. How would you rate this session? You can vote in Slido and I don't have to see. And I would like to let you know that we had our 29th meetup in 2 weeks because we are crazy. And the topic is why 70% of leaders struggle with exchange and how to get it right. I think it's going to be a good one. You can even break your HR plans and my people plans. It's going to be interesting. And it's going to be the last meetup before summer. Then there is summer break. So register and cap. Okay, this is our small team. Me, Marianne, and Tomasz. Tomasz is probably over there working. So kudos to them and be part of our mission. That is all. Thank you so much for being here with us. And let's go drink, talk, and eat. Thank you so much.